The family of a young transgender woman who died after waiting nearly 3 years for an initial appointment to discuss her transition say her death was avoidable and the system failed her. Alice Litman died in Brighton last year. She was waiting to be seen by the Gender Identity Clinic, which currently has more than 11,000 people on its waiting list. Her family says those long waits can leave transgender people feeling hopeless, as Leanne Rinney reports.
She was the child every mother would want. She was kind and compassionate and thoughtful, and often she didn't maybe fight so much for what she needed.
Alice Litman was 16 years old when she first told her family she wanted to live as a woman. In August 2019, she was referred to the NHS Gender Identity Development Service, but she was still on the waiting list for treatment when she killed herself in May last year.
She desperately wanted to move on with her life, and the long wait lists meant that she couldn't. And so it was just putting her life on hold. In the end, she just couldn't tolerate it anymore. It has torn our family apart. We loved her with all our hearts, and we are so sad that she's gone. And I do believe that with the right care, she could have managed and she would have thrived.
And I think it's not just Alice. It's too late for her. But there are lots of other young transgender people out there, and they need our help.
The family are now hoping the coroner at Alice's inquest will examine the issue of accessibility to gender-affirming healthcare across the UK.
The inquest will be looking at Alice's individual circumstances, but we would hope that an independent investigation highlighting what happened to Alice, that it will lead to future change and reform.
A spokesperson for the Tavistock and Portman NHS Foundation Trust said they are deeply saddened to learn of the death of a patient who was waiting to be seen at the Gender Identity Clinic, but it is not appropriate to comment while the inquest is ongoing.
It's not fair that my parents wonder how they could have saved Alice, because they did everything they could, and it wasn't their job to save her and to give her the healthcare she needed. That was the NHS, and it should have been there for her.
The inquest will start in September. Leanne Rinney, BBC South East Today.